Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video on trading camp. And for this video I'll be showing you guys a 5-minute scalping strategy that will be using no indicators but only purely technical analysis. And for this video we'll be mainly trading with trend lines, be it support trend lines and resistance trend lines. But before we start this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Just takes a few seconds, really helps me out. And yeah, let's continue with the video. So if you guys trade for a bit here and there, you'll notice that a lot of times the price actions tend to follow a particular trend. So in this case, you can see if we draw a line down, the general trend is we have this downside movement where whenever it reaches this line, you can see that price rejects from the line area and goes down, goes back up to the line, rejects down, goes back up to the line, rejects down. So you can see that a lot of times you can use this type of price movement to be able to scalp some gains, especially from the crypto market or other markets as well, be it Forex or anything. So it's important to identify these type of zones as areas where you can take trades to add confluences to confirm that your trade is in the right direction. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw these type of trend lines and how to take the trades. So first up, let me show you guys how to draw this type of trend lines and support channels. So you guys can use two type of ways to draw it. First, you can use the trend line. So you can just go to the second option right here, click trend line. In this case, I'll use the extended line. Draw from the top of one of the trend line to the bottom of the trend to another point on the trend line basically, and you can see that there's a lot of, as long as there's more than two or more points touching this trend line is basically valid. But the more important area that I'm going to be and tool that I'm going to be teaching guys that you guys should be using is the parallel channel. So oftentimes, more than not, the trend line is not only a single line and it actually is a channel. So what do I mean by that? So let me show you guys how to draw it. You want to go to the same thing, click on the parallel channel, you draw from here to here, and you can basically see that you can draw a channel. So you want to draw your first trend line and a zone down here. So you can see that this is how you draw the parallel channel. And why do I draw this parallel channel? Because sometimes price do not reject perfectly on the line. So if you were to draw the line, let's say we draw the line previously here, you can see that although a lot of times it touches the line perfectly and goes back down, you can see at times it will exceed the line and you don't know whether the line is valid or not. So oftentimes it is a zone of rejection and you want to draw the parallel channel. So you can see that in this channel, whenever it reaches the in-betweens and the top parts, it tends to reject down. So yeah, that is how you draw your trend lines. You just want to go to your zone, you click on parallel channel, you want to draw from the touch point of the first one to the touch point of another second point, and you just lift it up and you can extend it downwards. So yeah, just as long as the bottom line matches 2 points, and that's how you're good to go, and you extend up. So you can see this is how you draw your resistance trend line. And next time I'm going to teach you guys how to draw your support trend line and support channel. It is basically the same thing. So let's look at this. And by the way, I'm trading on the most recent data. As you guys can see, this is trading on the Sunday, the 16th of April, when the video is going to be released. So you can do the same thing. You want to go to your parallel channel, draw from the bottom of one point to the bottom of another point right here. You must add the wicks below, and you will drag the channel below a bit. You can extend it all the way. And since it's a support trend line, you want to make it green in color, so you know that whenever it touches this channel, it's likely to reject and support, and the support will push the price up. So you can see here we have 2 points. So we have 1 point here, pushes up, comes back down to this trend line zone and pushes up again. So you know that this is your first 2 points, and that is how you draw your trend line. So let's say this is your first support zone right here, and then you just want to extend it. You know that this area right here will likely be a area of support in the future. Same thing for the resistance zone right here. You can see that we draw 1 point to the next point, and we draw up, and you want to drag it down a bit to make sure that it captures everything. So in this case, you match 2 points in the thing in the channel, and you just want to extend it to find a future point where it possibly might reject. So now I'm going to head into the part where you guys can learn how to take trades. So in this case here, we already have identified that this is a downward trend, and this is a downward trend line. You can see that we have a rejection up here, another rejection up here, so 2 points right here. We have another 3 point right here, and you know that this is a very strong trend line because it already has 3 points of rejection. So now we're going to find a future area where it's likely to reject. So right here, reject, and you know that this area right here in the future, when price moves back out to this area, it is likely to reject. So you want to place a limit order maybe slightly below the trend line, and for this, what I would recommend is you want to place your stop loss right above the recent swing high. So the previous touch point, you just want to put your stop loss right above the previous touch point. Aim for 1.5:1, and that's how you trade the trend line, and you can see that is a win. So let's look right here. We want to look at the long term. You can see that we have another rejection here. See, we have this zone here. We might want to take another position right here. Stop loss right above the recent swing high and a 1.5:1, but in this case it will be a loss. But as long as with 1.5:1 risk to reward ratio, even if you have a 50% win rate, this will still be a win. So that's for how you take trades on the downtrend. Now let me show you guys how to take trades on the long trend. So you want to draw a parallel channel. You can see we have this touch point here with another support zone here. So let's make it green because it's a support trend line, and you want to extend it. So you can see that we have this one touch point here, and we drag down to another touch point right here. So in the future, you know that this touch point right here is likely to be another support area, and it's likely to bounce. So you want to enter a position right there. You just want to place a limit order right above the trend line. Place your stop loss below the recent swing low here, and right below this trend line here, and you want to aim for 1.5:1. As you can see, this is how it works. Same thing right here. If you extend the trend line all the way, you can see that we have so many touch points right here. You can place your entry right in the trend line as well. Just put, if you have no recent swing low right here, like you can see the recent swing low is all the way here, and there's no recent swing low right here, and you don't know where to place your stop loss, it is very simple. Just place your stop loss right below the trend line and aim for 1.5:1. So in this case, you can keep taking trades. You see that it will enter back into this trend line, place there, put your stop loss right below the trend line and your recent swing low, and a 1.5:1. So you can actually reuse the trend line multiple times. And as you guys can see, from this area right here, we have this big massive trend line with so many touch points. So let me show you guys how to draw it. We draw this parallel channel to the next point, which is right here, or you can draw it to the third point as well. Draw it up. You're gonna make it red because it's a resistance zone, and you drag it down. And you can see that there's so many rejection points in this area. When it comes up, goes down, comes up, goes down, comes up, goes down. So this is a very strong trend line, and you can just keep taking trades. So let's say you have this 1 point, 2 point, 3 point contact already, and you know it's a very strong trend line. You just want to place your short at the area right below the trend line. Stop loss right above the recent swing high, or right above the red trend line, and a 1.5:1. Same thing right here. After you take this win, you might want to enter another trade. So you want to place your entry right below the recent trend line right here. So you want to place it at the trend line. You want to put your stop loss right above the recent swing high, and also right above the trend line, and you take a 1.5:1, another win. Same thing here. Place your stop loss right there. Just keep taking the trades. Put it above. In this case, you might get stopped out if you put it right above the recent swing high, but no problem. It is only a small loss out of 1 trade, 2 trades, so 2 wins and 1 loss so far. And you just keep using the trend line. It's the same thing. Place your entry right below the trend line. Stop loss, you can put it right above the recent swing high, but in this case, I'll just put it slightly above the trend line right here. And you have a 1.5:1. So as you guys can see, there's so many more trades that you could have taken. You can see here we have another rejection point, here we have another rejection point. So you guys can just keep using the trend line over and over again, and it's important to identify which trade that and which trend line is on the current ongoing. As you guys can see here, we have a downward trend line, and here we have an upward trend line. So it's important to be able to identify at the current market situation which trend line is which. So we have this up trend line, down trend line, and you know, on the 5-minute time frame, the trend lines just keep changing. So you can take a few nice trades, but try not to overtrade the trend lines. So in this case right here, you see that we have a small trend line here pushing up, and you have a down trend line, up trend line, down trend line. So as you guys can see, it basically will just keep changing. And yeah, usually what I like to do is I wait for 2 touch points. So you can see 1 touch point here, 2 touch point here, and the 3rd touch point I'll take. Same thing here, 1 touch point, 2 touch point, and the 3rd touch point I'll take. Same thing here, we have this sort of iffy type of trend line zone. You can see that we have 1 touch point here, 2 touch point, and this 3 touch point I will go. 1 touch point, 2 touch point, 3rd touch point, I will take another trade. So that is my strategy. I will not try to overuse the trend line so much. I'll wait for 2 touch points before I take the 3rd trade, and basically the 3rd touch point to go short. And honestly, just place your stop loss right above the trend line. A lot of times it is a very small loss. As you guys can see, for most of the trades is 0.2%, 0.26%, and honestly, you guys can change the risk reward ratio to maybe 2.5 or even 3:1, and as long as you have a 30% win rate on a 3:1 risk to reward ratio, you will become profitable. So yeah, that is it for this scalping strategy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.